Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future videos. The button's down there if you want to click on it. We're turning out videos about one a week on average, sometimes more. So today we're going to have a look at a kit that's going to mean I'm going to have to redo the way I make the videos, simply because the box won't fit on the table. So what we're looking at is Italeri's 1/35 S-38. German Schnellboats, or E-boats as they were called, were probably the best boats of their class produced by anybody during the war. Had a crew of 30, about 4,000 horsepower in 3 engines, giving them about 40 knot top speed, range about 800 nautical miles. They were used by quite a few countries actually during the war, obviously mostly Nazi Germany. There was about 200 produced overall. They were very good sea boats, designed for working in the North Sea and the Channel and the seas that you get there. Okay, so let's have a look inside the box. Let's start with the box itself. As you can see, it's quite a big box. It's about 3 feet long, that's about a metre long. Decals for 3 versions, so 600 parts. Schnellboat type S-38, the one armed with the 4cm flak 28, 1/35 scale. The box is pretty impressive. If we put it on the side, you can see it looks like there's masks, decals, photo etch sheet. Perhaps that's a painting guide, not sure yet. Colours called out in Italeri paint. Final kit is 99.9 centimeters long, so basically a metre. Let's see what we get on this side. Just views of the built kit. And there's also an S100 type available, and you can also get a crew for it as well. There's nothing on the bottom of the box. So let's just open it up, see what's inside. So you can see it's quite thick corrugated cardboard. 2 other pieces of cardboard here to strengthen it. Inside, 2 whole halves, solid pieces. These are the length of the boat, obviously best part of a metre long. And there's raised rivet detail on there. So it looks nice. A little bit of clean up where it was attached to sprues, but nice thick plastic as well. And then inside here we have 1, 2, let's take that out for a second, 3, 4, 5 bags of parts, and there's this box as well. Inside the box, it's like another part, a gun tub with planking detail on the bottom, thread, nuts and bolts, decals, masking sheet, photo etch sheet, and the instruction book rather than booklet. There's a painting guide, version A. B and C on the side of the kit as well, side of the box. Colours in named and Italeri. One from the Black Sea, one from the English Channel. One from the English Channel. And the book, it's a book more than a booklet. 56 steps. We'll go through these in detail, but black and white pictures, nicely printed. Small steps. There's a lot there though. It's the thickest instruction booklet I've ever seen. So I'll open these up and then we'll go have a look Back on the regular bench, these quick look at these sprues, and then I'll take photographs of everything and go through the instructions. But yeah, so far looks nicely detailed and it's big. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the bits in the box. I'll start off with the instructions, a brief history of the S-38 type on the front there, and then we go to obviously sprues, their parts. There's those are like decals. We'll see what those are, but it looks like they go on the windows. A pretty big PE sheet, some nuts and bolts, and bits and pieces. We'll have a look at those. Sprue layout. Some of these sprues are pretty big. Colours laid out there. More decals. Sprues. And then there's 56 steps. Each one of them is a full page, such as this. So all the steps are, should we say, reasonably sized. Each step is not so busy that you can't easily work out what's going on. But there is a lot of them. Normally I'd go through every single step, but even a quick look at 56 steps mean we're going to be here a while. So what I've done is I've scanned all 56 steps and they're on the website. So you can use the link underneath this video down there, and you can have access to this complete document. Going through everything looks nice and clear. There's multiple steps where you can build options, things open, things closed, things like that. See here, tells you which holes to drill out. But the instructions are really good, nice and clear, not confusing, as far as I can tell. And they just add a few pieces in each step. Obviously, with a kit this size, some of the pieces are actually pretty big, even down to tying knots around the dinghy. Using, rather than photo etch, using actual basically string. So it all goes around using string at the back here as well for some of the railing. So the instructions are really good. Right, next thing we'll have a look at is those nuts and bolts I was talking about. We use those to hold the two halves of the hull together, obviously glue as well. And here's basically what's going to be rope and railings as well. Look at that. Then the PE sheet, as you can see, it's about the size of the flat of your hand. The PE is actually thicker than, regular PE you'd buy as a PE set. It's pretty thick. And then over the sheet we've got the decals. I've scanned all this as well and put them on the website if you want to have a closer look. The Kriegsmarine insignia is missing the swastika out the middle, and there's nothing here to allow you to make it either. So if you want the swastika in the middle, you'll have to find your own solution for that one. And we'll see what these look like, either masking sheets for all the windows if you want to paint. But I'll find out for sure. So let's have a quick look through the parts. Now this is not all going to fit. This is one sprue. It's not all going to fit in here, but we'll go through. Obviously this is underneath here is where the engine will be, I believe. And that's the front of the hull. Nice raised detail. I can feel the rivets under my thumb. A nice thick plastic as well. It's not going to buckle or move. So that's pretty neat. And then next big one is a single part main deck. This is the forward end here. This is where the wheelhouse is going to go around about here and down to the back end there. Again, lots of nice detail, like individual rivets on the hinges there. So it's looking pretty neat. Here's one that just about fits in the screen. This is some interior details, the two stands that the boat can sit on while you're building it. And lots of raised rivet detail, which is as expected. And some pretty nice detail in there, lots of parts. There's a gun down the bottom there. Ship's anchor over here. This one, you get 2 of these. There's a propeller there under my hand to get a sense of scale. A nameplate. There's 2 of these, obviously, to go to the for the stand. Torpedoes, nicely detailed, recessed. I think it's all recessed detail on that. Propellers for them. There's no sprue on these, as I noticed. This one's the smallest sprue of the kit. This looks like the 40mm Bofors gun as a separate standalone little kit. There's the breeches, barrel, or 2 halves of the breech, sorry. So that's pretty neat. There's looks like a couple of dinghies, some wooden hard-standing oars, again, and some small parts here. It's all looking very nice. This one's mostly looks like the wheelhouse. Again, lots of raised rivet detail, and you can see over here this will be internal detail, I think. There's detail on both sides of that part. In fact, there's detail on both sides of most of these parts on this sprue. And here's the last sprue. This one, here's the other propeller, hatches. Here's the back end of the torpedo tubes, I think. More hard standing, hatch covers. So lots there. And I'm not seeing any sprue anywhere. Attachment points all look pretty good. It's just, I remember it's a pretty new kit from Italeri. Just give you an idea of size again. Here's the front of the bow of the boat. You can see its full length. And then there's raised detail here, rivets. Smooth down here, rivets raised all down the sides. Aft end there, I think this is a exhaust, water jets maybe. Not sure, I'll have to do my research. There's some nice detail in there. It's a nice thick plastic. You can see there the thickness of the plastic in these parts. So the main part of the hull itself is pretty rigid and is not going to come apart. With a bit of work, you could possibly even make this into a remote control ship. So it's nice and smooth. So it looks quite nice. So far, I don't need to say the parts look really nice. The size of it's going to be a problem. You need a top of a bookcase. At some point, I'd hope to build this. I've got an ideal place already worked out where to put it, but it'll take a fair while to build. Okay, so let's have a look at a few select sections up close and some close-up looks at some parts on these sprues so you see what they look like. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to go through all the steps in this because there's so many of them. Normally I'd go through all the steps, but not this time. Here you can see steps 4 and 5 adding the propellers. Propellers are nicely formed, small attachment points, nothing much to clean up on them, which looks nice. You can see here actually is one of the innovations that the Germans introduced into this ship, the 2 small side rudders at the back. Those created a pressure differential that increased the thrust of the propellers and also kept the nose of the ship down. The Allies didn't actually work out what these were for until they did their own research on a couple of captured boats at the end of the war. And I think this is now called the Lursen effect, after the designer who discovered it. This is step 20, and we're building the wheelhouse in this one. The outside of these parts got some rivet detail on them, some nice detail overall. A lot of these parts have got really nice detail on them. So it looked good. This is, as being 1/35th scale, you get a lot of extra detail on this. And Italeri seem to have included pretty much all of it, even down to door handles. You also have here the other sheet with the decals I was looking at. That's actually windows. So a lot of these you have the choice of having the windows in or having a photo etch cover over the outside. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could use some aftermarket products to put the glazing in the windows as well. But look at these parts. There's some nice detail. Italeri have added a lot of small parts and details to this, even down to the door handles. And the last step I'll look at is, this is step 52. The 40mm Bofors is a really nice little kit, all of its own really. You could probably find somebody's released a kit of this as a standalone item pretty much. As you can see, there's some nice detail on the gun itself, and you could spend quite a bit of time on this and make a very nicely detailed kit all of itself. So that's sort of showing you the level of detail you get. Detachment points again are all pretty good. Can't see any evidence of flash anywhere, or if there is, it's very minimal. So all in all, a very nice kit so far. The decals overall look good, the colours look nice, everything's in register. The only thing I'll say is if you want to be historically accurate and put swastikas on here, there's no way to do it with what's in the kit. You'll have to source your own aftermarket swastikas and put those in the middle of the Kriegsmarine ensign. Then the P thread is good. It's a bit thicker than I'm used to sort of seeing with things, but then again it probably makes sense with this being a 135th naval kit, and possibly the items in question were built a bit sturdier than the thin stuff you see on AFEs. But it should still all be just fine. So an overall conclusion, it's an impressive kit. It's going to be 3 feet long, roughly about a metre, so you're going to need some bench space to both build it and some shelf space afterwards to store it. That notwithstanding, it looked like a very nice kit out looking at the parts in the box. Should be a reasonably straightforward kit to build. There's lots of nice detail on here. So it's overall it's really quite a nice kit, and it'll certainly be something that looks impressive on the shelf when you're done. And many thanks to Italeri for sending it along for us to have a look at.